your own coach, essentially, telling yourself that you have to do these workouts, and making sure that you're not injuring yourself or
Yo, Gorillas, welcome to the Athlete Insider podcast by Gorilla Nation. My name is Phil, and today's guest is one of the most complete calisthenics freestyle athletes and somebody who is admired by a lot of statics and dynamics athletes with his skills. I'm really happy to welcome you to the show, Tomas Kurganov.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for the invitation. Glad to be here. Get started, man.
Yes, already nice that you are for you it's early morning right now. For me, it's the end of the workday. So
Opposite schedules.
True. And let's kick off. Who is Tomas Kurganov? How do you present yourself?
So basically, when I'm first meeting people or introducing myself, I'll tell people that I'm a professional calisthenics athlete and that I'm also a personal trainer. And then if they ask any more in-depth questions like what is calisthenics, then I'll go more in detail about the sport and exactly what I'm doing and how I'm training people.
Okay, great. And you're living in the US, right?
I am living in LA right now, California.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I saw I always see this Ukraine flag in your bio. So you're not 100% American. Can you tell us more about it?
My whole family is actually from Ukraine, from Kyiv. Wow. And I'm the first generation born here in America. So it's pretty cool. I have a bunch of family over there and I really hope to visit one day. And yeah, I know some athletes from over there. I think you also did an interview with Melnick.
Yes.
So there's some super strong athletes over there. And yeah, that's pretty much where my family is from.
Okay. And the good genetics, because I always see these crazy Ukrainian beasts. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So nice. But what I really enjoy is your English is perfect. So this is really
nice. Man. Thank you.
For the people listening to this. I think they will enjoy. People always ask these three questions. How old are you?
So right now I just turned 21.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And how tall are you?
I'm about 5'7", 5'8", so pretty short.
5'7", 5'8". Do you know how much this is in centimeters?
I'm actually not quite sure, but in weight, I know I am about 61, 62 kg.
61, 62 kg for the US American viewers. How many, what is it?
That will be 140.
140. Okay. And in centimeters, your height is 170. Okay. Just for the European listeners.
Cool. Yeah.
Great. Tell us the story, how you got in touch with calisthenics. When did it come into your life, etc.?
So, I've been doing calisthenics total for around 6 years now. And my calisthenics journey started when I was about 14, 15 years old. When I was just starting calisthenics before, I was already pretty athletic guy. I was really into parkour and martial arts, and pretty much I didn't know anything about calisthenics. There was not much videos out, and it was just me and my friend training at the local parks and in our backyards here with the bars that we had. And so at first, my friend, he showed me what a pullover is. And once I saw what a pullover was, I was like, okay, that's cool. I want to learn how to do that. And I learned it after 1 week. And then he showed me what a muscle up was, and we couldn't do it. So that was our mission. From that moment, we want to get a muscle up because we've seen people doing it and it's super cool. And it all started from then. We would just go to the park training muscle ups. And eventually my friend, he went into doing the bodybuilding, and I got so addicted to calisthenics. And once I got the muscle up, I just knew there was so many more possibilities for me. And I knew I was capable of so much more. So I kept training from there on. And eventually I started going to gymnastics gyms, because for the first whole year of my calisthenics journey, I was only doing reps and sets for the first year. And then I started seeing the videos and stuff with the freestyle and everything. And then I went to the gymnastics gym. And over there, I was learning how to do backflip, and I was trying to do freestyle on the bars over there. And I met this guy, and we started training together. And he was from the Venice Beach, and he was part of the local calisthenics group over there. I believe it was called Venice Dynamics. And so we started training together, and then eventually he introduced me to his team, and I started training with them. And then they had their first annual competition of the year in the summer, and they invited me to go compete because I've been training with him. And so I was like, cool, I'll go see what it's all about. And I was only like 16, 15 years old around this time. And so when I came, I participated in just the handstand challenge, and I was too scared to do the freestyle. And because I only had a few tricks, I was not confident in myself. And I was a very shy person back then as well. And so after that competition, I kind of like made it my mission that I'm going to train more freestyle and I'm going to get better as an overall athlete. And so then the next competition comes around. I believe it was in Santa Monica. They canceled the Battle of the Bars in Florida. And I came to watch the battle. And I didn't know I was going to be able to compete. They told me I couldn't at first. And I see a bunch of guys that are like 17 years old, 18, 16, like around my age that are competing. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I can talk to the guy and maybe I can compete. And so he tells me like, can you do a backflip? Can you do a handstand? Then you can compete. I'm like, okay. So I go to compete, and my dad was there also. So he signed a little waiver for me. And it was cool. I competed and I actually ended up winning that whole competition.
Wow.
And that was, for me, that was the beginning of everything. That's when I knew like I wanted to start competing more. I wanted to start getting more involved with the community. And I also met a bunch of people from the community there. And from that day, like we started training together. It wasn't just me anymore. And it was like a bunch of guys. And I invited them over later to my house. And that's when we formed the West Coast Warriors, the team. And for 2 whole years after that, we were just training and motivating each other as friends in the community, coming up together. And that's all it was. It was nothing serious. And we didn't have any really like certain path that we were following, you know, it was just for fun. And then after the 2 years, we added some new members to the team, and we started really having a mission. We started to create our website and come out with programs, tutorials, different blogs and merchandise, and just try to grow the sport and help spread the sport in any way we can, you know. And now I've been doing calisthenics for 6 years. Yeah. So that's how it started.
Wow. That's already a crazy journey. So many things in there. So many questions already answered, because people always ask for how long did you only do basics? Because for me, it feels that the young generation, they want to do like the planches and the 360s and the dynamics, etc., really, really quick after beginning. Even in the first training, they try, but like after a few months, they want to achieve it. And I see a lot of professional athletes like you with experience that they like did only basics for a year or like even sometimes 2 years. So what's your opinion on that for also looking on the joints, on the tendons, etc.?
I think in terms of what I did, I was very smart, because I would, to anybody that's starting calisthenics, automatically, I would recommend to start out with the basics, reps and sets. And, you know, after doing it for a year, or I think I was doing for a year and a half, I was also involved in social media online challenges like 14-day calisthenics challenge. And those were all reps, different sorts of cycles and repetitions for workouts. And so that's what gave me my foundation. That's what gave me my strength. I was able to have already like a good pulling strength and already a good foundation for a pushing strength. And so like when I was transitioning into statics, it wasn't like so much of like a strain on my tendons and joints, like you were saying, you know, so I already had some conditioning. And always I'm telling people, no matter what level you're at, if you're already like super professional, you always have to do the basics. And a lot of people, they don't think this because I don't post it all the time on my social media, but I'm always going back and doing the basics and doing the foundations and working to make sure that I'm safe. And that's what really allows me to have my endurance and to stay healthy, to perform the super advanced skills and exercises.
I can imagine. Like you said, your goal in the beginning was the muscle up, first how's it called, the turn, the
Pullover.
Pullover, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Then the muscle up, and after that, was it always the planche, or did you know that you want to go into dynamics and statics? Like, how did it feel?
No, so at first, like it was all just strength based, like repetitions. Like I didn't know anything about statics or freestyle. Like when I was doing this, like I was literally just like, how many variations of reps can I do? Like, can I do muscle up clap? Can I do like archer muscle up? Can I do different variations of pull ups and dips and push ups, and figuring out different cool like cycles that I can do together and add exercises together, like little rep combos almost, you could say. But yeah, I didn't always know. And then once I started like getting more involved with the community, like Instagram, and going to the beach more and training with all those guys, I got like the hype and the motivation to do all the freestyle and stuff, because like I was doing parkour before, so I kind of had like a good awareness of my body already. And for me, it was a lot of fun just to like jump around and like do flips and tricks and twists, and being able to go to the gymnastics gyms back then, that's what really like exposed me to the freestyle and to the statics. I was able to play around safely under the foam pits and just try different things, and it just started getting up and up and up after that.
What's funny is, for me also, Instagram is a world. If you enter it, like before, everything is quite normal. You think you're quite strong doing your muscle ups or clap push-ups or whatever. And then you enter the world of Instagram, and there are like people doing, I don't know, 1 hour muscle ups and like crazy, crazy stuff. And that's the reason I think why the new generation is wanting to learn skills so fast, because they think everybody can do a full planche, every calisthenics athlete. And on the other hand, it's also a good thing if you use it right to set different standards, because you for yourself, due to your friends, due to Instagram, you had different standards of what's possible.
Exactly. And that's why we started creating like different programs and tutorials for people, because like you said, people now they're so eager to jump into that kind of training, and you can't tell somebody, no, like don't do that. Like if they want to do it, like they're going to do it, so they might as well have like more information when they start doing it, so they can be safer and they can follow like the right steps, So because like I went through it without anybody teaching me or like telling me what the right thing was, like when I was first starting, it was just looking through every single YouTube video there was, and there was not much, and back then you didn't know what was right or what was wrong. So it was just a lot of attempts, just doing the progressions that you can, and, trying to gain the strength in any way you could. For me, form was not really a concern. Like I didn't really care about a technique back then. For the first 2 years of my static training, it was just build the strength, build the volume. And then after that, once I started seeing a lot of progress with my strength, I started focusing a lot more on the technique and cleaning everything up, making everything look pretty. That makes sense.
Makes sense, definitely. People asked, how long did it take from your first workout ever to the first, let's call it 80% clean full planche hold?
So from my first full planche hold to like my clean full planche?
No, from the first workout ever, like in like starting calisthenics really with sets and reps, as you said, to the first full planche, the clean one. Okay,
so my first workout, I would say after the whole year and a half of doing like reps and sets, for me to get my first straddle planche hold, it took me just like a few months, like 3 months. And then it was actually took me way longer to get from straddle to full planche. Like for me, that was like a big gap for some reason. And so I think it took about 6 to 8 months from straddle to full. So in total, I would say about, over a year and a half.
Okay. If I understand it right, 1 year and a half of reps and sets.
Around there.
Plus 3 months of straddle.
So you could say like 2 years, yeah.
Okay, and then like a few months again for the full planche. Okay, because this is really important, because a lot of athletes, And this is why the community said, please ask the questions specifically like this, because otherwise, if I ask how long did it take for you to learn the full planche, then maybe you say, yeah, from the straddle planche, I took, I don't know, for 6 months or something. And 6 months sounds really short, but
I understand. Yeah. So in total, from the beginning of my journey, to answer that question, from the beginning of my journey to a full planche hold, I will say it took around 2 years.
Okay, cool. That's
around 2 years.
An honest answer. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm asking myself,
It was a
because
grind.
as I said in the beginning already, for me, if I think of you as an athlete, I think of somebody who is really complete, who is like really strong in statics and dynamics, and that's let's say quite rare, or like it's something that's really special. What was necessary to make you that person? Did you just train more than everybody else? Was it your focus? What's the reason, in your opinion, to that?
That's a good question. So I think it's just the balance of training and what you're focusing on. For me, like at the start of my journey, I was really focusing on strength. Like that was why I got into doing calisthenics. I was really appealed by the strength aspect, and that's why I was doing the reps and sets. After I got introduced to the freestyle, it kind of fed that like crazy wild side of me, like that loves to do parkour and martial arts and all this crazy stuff, So that's why I love to do both. And like I knew from the beginning, like if I were just to like have figure out a balance of training both, then I could progress with both, So I would go to the gymnastics gyms, and whenever I'm not training freestyle or learning new moves, I'm training statics. I'm working out the reps, I'm doing the basics, and I'm trying to get as strong as I can. And so over the years, like I've realized a lot of different methods of training. And I think the best thing for me is to understand what is periodization training, what is specialization, and how to differentiate your workouts between form training, or how to balance your workouts for form training, endurance training, and strength training. Okay, so in understanding how to balance all of that in your schedule will allow you to be a complete athlete. Because for me, like sometimes what I'll do is I'll be focusing for like 1 month or a few weeks on like one aspect to get really strong, right? In like maybe like full planche or a Maltese, or in some kind of a strength element, right? And then I'll put all of my focus there, and then I'll have my secondary focus on the freestyle or on some other skills, right? So my main priority is what I'm focusing in those weeks, the planche or whatever. And then after that, I can switch my focus after I see a good amount of progress. So what that allows me to do is to really focus all of my energy and effort onto like one skill or a few skills. And that way I can see a lot of progress versus like, I'm focusing on everything at the same time, and then I'm only seeing little progress in all of the things. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, I would say that's what it is.
Okay, and that's something, if I can tell for the viewers, that's something that I see a lot of times in these interviews with professional athletes, that they do some kind of maintenance work. That's how they call it, for different elements. They don't do them regularly, or they just do them from time to time, but they focus on one aspect, and that's what you just said. Which seems to work. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there sitting in front of trophies. So yeah.
Yeah, and now like now like when I'm training, like I said, it's just whenever I'll pick like however many times I'm going to be training my freestyle in the week, and then whenever I'm not training freestyle, I'm training statics every day, like really hard, and a lot of things that I would like to pass on to my clients as well, and people that are trying to progress faster, is a lot of my trainings I'm not going 100% in all of them. So I'm doing kind of like 60% or 70% to allow myself to be able to train the next day or the next following days in a row, So that allows me to get more workouts in by the end of the week, versus I'm going 100% in one workout, and then the next 2 days I can't do anything. you know? So at the end of the week is only 3 workouts versus like every day I'm doing workouts. So that allows me to progress like way faster and focus on a bunch of different things, you know, because people don't realize, but you can get a lot of done in 1 week. You can do so much, you know, and you don't need to destroy yourself. Like what I like to do is low intensity, high volume training where I'm having a low intensity in my workouts. I'm not going like too crazy or intense, but I'm doing a lot of sets, a lot of volume to increase the strength and to get a lot of repetition in.
And that's totally against, or this common knowledge or like message that is around everywhere. You have to go give 100% in every workout. You have to go all in. And that's
I've noticed the most strength gains when I actually don't do that, when I'm like more consistent with my workouts but less intense, you know, and I'm doing like, for example, more harder variations, or I'm adding weight or something like that, more resistance. That allows me to see more strength at the end of the day and without me completely tiring myself out and fatiguing either.
So you're not sore after every workout?
No.
Sometimes
I am. So like if I'm, for example, gonna do like on my really hard freestyle and static days. Mm-hmm. So when I'm training freestyle really hard, no matter what, as soon as I'm done with like 2-3 hour freestyle sesh, we go into a few hour static sesh right after. So after those kind of days where you're training for like 4 or 5, 6 hours in the day, yeah, you're gonna feel it. But for me, it's not every session like that, you know.
Okay.
Those days where I'm going really hard for like 6 hours a day is mainly the days that we're training with the community on Sunday at the beach. And this is usually once a week, where everybody comes together at the beach and we're all training and motivating each other. And that's why the day lasts so long, you know, for 6 hours, but it's really cool. Yeah.
Do you have somebody who does this periodization for you, or is it yourself who plans everything?
Yeah, just myself. Yeah, okay. I'm doing it based off of how my body is feeling, always listening to my body and what my goals are, what my next goals are.
Okay, because I was just asking because there are still athletes, for example, Tony Gastet, he's a coach himself, but he also has like coaches to plan everything for him. This is why I was interested.
Yeah, I don't have a coach, but I've kind of developed such a good understanding of my body over the years that I'm kind of just my own coach at this point. And that's where like the discipline comes, you know, it's a lot more than motivation, you know, because not every single day you're going to have motivation, you know, that's when you're going to have to come out with the discipline and the determination and to be on top of yourself, to be your own coach, essentially, you know, telling yourself that you have to do these workouts, you know, and making sure that you're not injuring yourself or you're going too hard or too crazy, you know. So it's really important to be aware of all those things when you're training, especially as a professional athlete, every day really hard.
True. Can you take us in a normal week, in your normal schedule for a week?
Yeah. So for my week, I'll try to do some kind of like workouts like every day, you know, like I said, like if I'm too sore, then I'll take a rest day, but a lot of times I won't rest completely. I'll train some other skill or some other aspect that I'm not feeling sore in, or I'll do cardio, or, you know, like I said, go back to the basics, go back to the foundations and do those. But throughout my week, I'm also doing online training. So I'm trying to like really like pass on a lot of the information that I also know and help others. Through my Instagram, a lot of people have reached out with tons of messages about similar things that you're asking about, how to, you know, structure the workouts and how to, you know, train like with all these drills and exercises safely. And so I'm just figuring out different ways on how to communicate with people, how to train by myself here. And recently, I haven't been training too much with my teammates. So it's just been myself grinding at home here and occasionally going to the beach. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I'm doing throughout my week. And yeah.
So a lot of statics at home, because I guess you can't do any freestyle at home.
I can do freestyle. Recently, the weather has been like not good. It's been raining a little bit
Okay.
here, and the wind has just been crazy. So I haven't been doing too much freestyles in that case. But whenever it's like that, I always can do statics in my room. Every day I'm doing them, and outside in my backyard, I have a setup with a bar, and I have some rings and all my parallettes. So I'm always doing training there. Um, as you can see from the videos, the static videos.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah, man.
that's good news. So yeah, you have a lot of friends these times with a good workout park in the backyard. I guess a lot of people want to train with
Yeah,
you.
sometimes we go to like the local parks here. They're not too far away. There's like a few here in the valley and in LA. But because of this whole virus thing, people have been trying to limit going out and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's more of just my teammates whenever we can get together. That's when the real hype and the motivation comes, because we're always pushing each other, when we're training together. So yeah.
Okay. Do you have like a few things, advices for the people who want to learn the planche? Some stuff that, looking back on your experience, on your journey, was crucial to having this planche today?
Yeah, so definitely something I mentioned before about the listening to your body and not training 100% for each workout. That's something that I didn't know before when I was training, and that caused me to have like several injuries. Like I had like a really bad shoulder injury for like 5-7 months, and it was either impinged or I had like some kind of a little micro tear. But from that, like from those injuries, like I learned like what to do, correctly. And I learned how to listen to my body and not to just kill myself and destroy myself. And I learned that it's also okay to sometimes take a step back and understand when you're overtraining and you're going too hard. And for me, it's sometimes good to do like a deload week where just for the whole week, I'll plan every single day of doing like basic exercises and rehab. So rehab is another important thing. And I will argue that people should be doing the rehab, if not just as much, but more than their training, because that's actually like what's going to make you able to train harder and gain the strength, without the injuries safely, quickly, efficiently. So I'm always rolling out with the ball. I have the ball, lacrosse ball, and I'm doing that. And I have the roller. And for me, I don't recommend to stretch too much, just because like when you're doing statics, a certain amount of tightness is needed in your body, to have the strength. So if you're too loose, then it might cause for some kind of injury or displacement, So it's good to just find a balance, It's really about listening to your body and kind of just figuring out what workouts, what drills, what exercises are going to work best for you, because there's a million things out there that, are going to help you, but might not be the best for you. Everybody is different, and every different method is going to affect somebody differently, so you kind of have to listen to your body and figure out the best method for you.
Okay.
That's my advice.
Nice. Number one question that we received, and I was surprised by that, was on YouTube and on Instagram, was about your planche form, and people were interested in your extreme hollow, let's call it. Can you tell us more about it? Why do you do that? Is it like it will be by on purpose? It will be done on purpose, so you will have your thoughts.
Yeah.
there?
So yeah, it's on purpose. Like what I'm doing is on purpose. Like I can do whatever planche form I want. I can do retracted, I can do neutral, I can do way too much protraction. But right now, the best for me is just not over exaggerated, but kind of like still a good amount of protraction.
Mhm.
For me, it all started when my teammate Nikki Makes, he showed me a video on YouTube that I believe is deleted now, but I think it was Gagi from Italy. and he was teaching Eric Ortiz or somebody like that how to do like the retroversion and the protraction with the form. And like everybody was gathered around in a circle, and like they were speaking Italian and Spanish. So I had no idea what was going on, but I could see like, and there was subtitles. So I was watching and I was learning. And like when I understood like what I needed to do, like I tried to do it in just a tuck and going into an advanced tuck. And I realized that because I had like, 2 years of already like planche strength, I was able to like go into it for a few seconds just to feel like what is going to be to have that form with the back. Right. And before, when I was training, I never liked my form. I never liked that my scapulars were like sticking out like that, but I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what I was supposed to do because I was just going and leaning and trying to hold.
Yeah.
And after seeing that, I converted all of my trainings to only doing it with protraction and retroversion. And so for 6 months, it took me 6 months basically to go from that, my old form, to a new form of like with protraction, full planche. And throughout those 6 months, it was a journey. Like each month, like I would be able to hold my back, but my legs would be too low, or my hips would be too low, or it's too high, So I was experimenting. And then finally, like the more repetition I did it, in all of my workouts, I stopped doing like the old way, and I just started doing the basics and the advanced tucks with the clean form. And that's really what helped me. And the main thing of why I'm having my form how it is today is because I'm training, like how I'm training my form in the beginning of my training, I'm training it the same at the end. When I'm dead tired, when I'm fatigued, my form is the same. I'm training it the same in all my workouts. So even if you need more rest, but eventually after you keep doing it every sesh, your body is going to adapt, and that's going to be the only way that you can do it. Like it's hard for me to go into a bad form now.
Nobody has seen these scapulas since months then. Yeah, because for me it was really interesting, and I before the interview I asked some people who are really strong in planche as well. I asked their opinion about it, but because there were also one or two people who asked when will he fix his form, and for me it was like, okay, I learned when doing planche it is important to not have the scapula looking out.
It's different styles. Like, yeah. I'm not going to say it's a right form or it's a wrong form. Like people have really strong planche that are not doing the form like me, and they can do everything the same. So it's just a different style of planche. For me, I believe it's more than the form. Mm-hmm. I believe it goes into the strength, and like, because when I'm doing like my presses and my push-ups and everything, when I'm in a hollow body, I feel like I can contain and I can use more of my body for my strength. When I'm doing my presses and stuff. So when I'm retracted, like for example, when I'm going for my press, I don't feel like I can use as much of my shoulders, and like, I feel like it's more load on unnecessary muscles, and it might cause for injury. I don't know for sure, but before, like I had the injuries, and when I switched to the form, like I haven't had really any injuries. So it allowed me, like when I have protraction, when I'm getting tired and I lose some protraction, I can still do my things. I can still press. I can still do the push-ups because I know how it felt like to go all the way synced in, so it allows me to have more room to work with, essentially.
Interesting. So to count your injuries in your career, the severe shoulder injury, what else did you have as injuries?
I broke my toe in Battle of the Bars, doing double flyaway. I broke my hand from doing a super 540, karate chopping the bar. And I don't think there was like some minor injuries here and there, but those were the main ones. And then my shoulder, which was the biggest one for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. People also asked, what is your favorite workout when you train statics, or is it freestyle? What's more fun?
I'll say for me, like, because like I'm a complete athlete, for me is the most fun when I'm doing both together. Yeah, when I'm doing both together. But honestly, like when I'm by myself, I really enjoy doing like statics, like just going really hard. Like because for me, it's almost kind of like a meditation. It's kind of like a therapy as well. You know, I could just express myself and go as hard as I want without worrying about what anyone is gonna think. You know, and for me, that's kind of just like a good zone to get into. And I don't feel like really stressed, you know, when I'm doing statics. Like I'm just going as hard as I can. Like I don't have to think about like if I'm gonna fall off of this giant or I'm gonna do some crazy shit. But I love doing dynamics. Like for me, it's the adrenaline. That's what gets me to love doing the dynamics. It's different feelings, you know, like when you do the dynamics, like you feel like you're flying, you feel like you have the adrenaline, it's crazy. But when you're doing statics, you feel like you have the power, you feel like super strong, you know, and you can just, you know, it's different feelings, and it's two feelings that I'm forever going to be in love with. And that's why I love calisthenics. So
great. Let's switch to competition preparation. How does this look like for you?
So competition preparation is very important. Like I would say, like when I'm training for competition, I've tested out different actual like methods. I've tried being like super stressed about it and like taking it like super serious, like every single day, like every week, you know, like I'm thinking about it every night I go to sleep. But I've also tried methods where I'm just kind of laid back, I'm relaxed. My workouts have not really changed, you know. I'm just doing my normal workouts, training how I am, not thinking about it too much, you know, just going with the flow. And I've realized that the best for me is a mix of both. Is a mix of worrying about it a little bit and taking it serious, of course, and at the same time being kind of laid back about it and chill about it and not stressing too much over it, because that's when you get in your head, you know, and that's when you start second guessing yourself and overthinking. And for me, like I'll just be like, I know, like if I have a date for a competition, I know that I'm going to be the most that I possibly can be prepared for that date, you know? So like, whether it's like a month or two before, like that's when I'm going to really start doing more endurance training. But other than that, the training doesn't really change. It doesn't really change. I'm still doing like all of my combos. Maybe like if I know that I'm going to do specific combos, I'll do more repetitions of that combo over and over again. But other than that, it's just more endurance training and more cardio training, like for battle the bars, when it's like 45 seconds break, 45 seconds break. The best thing for me, and which might help some athletes as well, is doing burpees and jump roping kind of cycles. And I like mixing those workouts with statics. So like, it's the best feeling for me. You get completely burned out and it feels like you're in the competition, like you're competing, you know, because like 45 seconds, you're going as hard as you can, burpees, like max out. And then instead of resting for 30 minutes, how you would in the competition, I'm going and I'm doing a static hold.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, that's what the endurance is. And just in a few weeks, you can tell like a huge difference from doing that kind of training. You know, I don't do it all the time because it's hard on your body. It's hard on your body. It's a lot of neurological, you know, so, and it's not really fun to be going like that hard all the time. Like I said, you know, you kind of want to enjoy your training and have fun with it. So yeah.
Interesting. I didn't expect that the word burpee would fall in this interview. So
big time, bro. Burpees are amazing for me.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Somebody was asking, and that's something that I see in this interview. You're like balancing statics and dynamics. You're balancing your mental work and the preparation for the competition, etc. So you seem like a really balanced guy. And somebody was asking, you seem really happy and relaxed in your workouts. What's your philosophy for life?
What's my philosophy for life?
Big question, bro. But maybe you have some thoughts on it.
I mean, really, like, just my goals for calisthenics is to inspire people and to, like, to get more people involved in fitness and movement and in the community, and to help people understand that just because I'm doing like all these crazy advanced things, it doesn't mean that, they can't do it, So like, that's why I'm also doing, like, I'm trying to do more into my coaching and into my training to get more people exposed into my methods of working out and training. And, the more people that can, start, joining calisthenics and just being aware of what we do, that makes me really happy. When I like teach somebody and, or inspire somebody and they do something that like I did, or like they tell me that, they accomplished it because they watch me, then for me, that builds more motivation for me. So like when I'm in my workouts, like I'm thinking about like, how can I progress myself? I'm always thinking, how can I be better than I was before? But always, how can I like inspire other people that are watching me, And I want people, when they watch me, to see that I'm having fun, like it's not like a chore for me. It's not like a work. Like when I'm doing calisthenics, like, yeah, it's my job, but it's what I love. It's fun. I'm doing this every day because I enjoy it. As soon as it stops being fun, as soon as something is not fun for me, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to switch it. Like if competing is not going to be fun for me anymore, I'm going to stop competing. Like, like for me, it's all just about a balance and how I'm feeling. So if I'm happy in what I'm doing, I'm going to keep doing it.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you look so happy. That's nice. Do you plan to compete again this year?
I really want to compete. So we're having our competition in Ecuador in the Street Fit, September. It should be September if everything goes well. We're hoping for it to be a huge championship, but I'm realizing that I don't want to compete so much and so often anymore. Like I want to just choose like the main competitions, the ones that are going to be the most important for me, that I want to go to, and just do maybe a few a year, because that will allow me to just focus and progress more, and allow me to work on myself more as well. And some of the actual competitions that I'm really hoping to compete is, if they have it this year, Burning Gate.
Yes,
it would be my dream.
It
would be my dream to compete in an only statics competition. Tons of people have been messaging me too, like, bro, you got to do this. Like, you should do this. And I watched the video, like I watched the YouTube video like over and over again for motivation. Like to this day, like, it blows my mind, some of the stuff that I see, there's like some of the strongest athletes in the world there. So it's just to be on that stage would be incredible. And, Spain, the Madrid competition, and Moscow World Championship, those are just some of the ones that are on my list. So
okay. Mm-hmm. So picking out the best ones, the ones that fit you the best, and competing.
Exactly.
Definitely. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. I think one of the last questions is coming to diet / nutrition. Can you tell us more how it looks like for you?
For my diet and nutrition, I'm not going too serious with it. Like I'm always like eating good quality foods, and I'm thinking about what I'm eating, but I'm not like counting my calories or like my macros or anything, or I'm not like too serious about like writing it down or anything. Like for me, a lot of times, like what I'll do is sometimes intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. In a way, how I do it is I won't eat for like the first 3-4 hours of the day, and I'm waking up usually at like 8 a.m. So I'll be eating around like noon, like 1 o'clock sometimes. And for me, like that's when I feel the best, And if I'm not going to be having breakfast, then I'll just go straight to a lunch, and then I'll have like some healthy snacks or whatever throughout the day, and then my main dinner. So it's either 3 or 2 meals a day. But yeah, other than that, I'm just always trying to be conscious of eating quality food, maintaining the meat, the protein with the carbs and the vegetables. And I'm actually always having like fruit like every day. Like fruit every day is really good. Like I've realized that in the morning is the best for me. Like it kind of just acts as like a little pre-workout energy boost to get the day going, you know, and the fruit. So yeah, man.
Great.
And
Do you
also
take
smoothies.
smoothies?
Sorry.
Okay, smoothies same as fruits, I guess.
Yeah, I love doing the smoothies,
Yeah.
and I'll put like some supplements in there too, you know, like chia seeds, hemp, make it good.
True.
Mhm.
And in smoothies, you can eat so much mass and like so easy. Nobody would eat two bananas and apple. I don't know everything, but in a smoothie, it's easy.
Exactly.
Your opinion on supplements?
Supplements. I'm not a big fan on supplements. Only I'm a fan on like natural supplements, like
Mhm.
herbs, like herbs and stuff. Like I'm taking stuff like that and homeopathic remedies.
Mhm.
Those are the best for me. I don't like for pre-workout, like occasionally when I'm like super dead and I need it, like I'll take like a few sips of a Bang and I'm already like crazy, you know, because before like I used to drink like a Monster, you know, and I wouldn't even feel it. I wouldn't feel
Wow.
nothing. So it's pointless to me, and like all the stuff that they put in there extra is not really good. But occasionally I don't see a problem with it. I used to do this is actually funny because when I was first starting calisthenics and doing reps and sets, I was also doing a little bit of weightlifting.
Mhm.
And because I just wanted to get stronger, bigger, I was like 100 pounds, like so small.
Wow.
So anything I could do, you know, and I was drinking 3 protein shakes a day,
Wow.
3 along with my meals, bro. Like
Wow.
and it was chocolate, you know, so you can imagine how bloated I was feeling, you know,
Yeah.
like it was not good. And that's really what made me change into that kind of philosophy of being more healthy with the herbs and stuff.
That's I think like when somebody tells me this, I always have to think of the toilets on a fitness convention. You know, they always smell like like these are the people
Yeah,
who
man.
drink it every day, like every day, 3, 5 protein shakes. I don't know. This is what I imagine because
Bro,
the body is not made for this.
it doesn't digest. Like
Yeah.
I literally feel like 10 pounds heavier, like at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's
but
crazy.
not good heavier, even though you wanted to gain mass. Okay,
Exactly.
cool. Yeah, the last question is, yeah, what are your goals for this year? What can we expect from you 2021?
My goals for this year. So I'm pretty sure people have like known this already, but I've been low key about it. I'm really just trying to level up my big dynamics and my power moves. For the past like 2 months, I've been grinding on the 720.
Wow.
It's the hardest so far. It's been like the hardest trick for me ever that I've trained mentally, you know. So I'm making a lot of progress, and I'm going in the right direction. And I'm not just gonna stop there. I'm hoping this year I can unlock other things like the Super 540, and I can get my Super 540 clean again, and just start incorporating more like risky big tricks into my combos to take everything to the next level. Because I know the top athletes, they have been grinding, man. Like we've all been grinding and pushing each other on the social medias and you know in the DMs as well. And we're just waiting for the comps to come. So just gonna keep training hard, man, and grinding for that next big competition, and hope to take it to that next level.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice. At the end, we always have some quick questions, quick answers.
Sure.
What do you prefer, pizza or burger?
A burger.
Burger. Okay. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Um, I'm a dog, but I love my cat. He's my
Okay.
brother.
He's in the room, so yeah, you can't say
Yeah, I
anything
can't hate
else.
on him.
Great. Do you have a favorite location for holidays?
Yeah, I would say Cancun.
Okay, Mexico.
Cancun. Mexico, Cancun. I love it.
Great. Who are the athletes that you look at or that inspire you for your workout?
Just to name off the top of my head, some athletes: Daniel Lazens, Eric Ortiz, Roger, Steve, so many, Kwate, Melnick. Um, there's just so many. My teammates. God, I have to think. there's too many. There's just a few, but
Yeah.
a lot of guys are inspiring me right now. A bunch of guys from Mexico. They've been tagging me in like their freestyles and statics and stuff. So I've been getting motivated from their motivation by me. So
Yeah.
it's just a constant cycle of, it's awesome, man.
Positivity and
I love the
motivation.
community.
Great. And that's what I love about Calisthenics. It's really this international thing, because you're sitting in America, there's somebody listening in Mexico or India or wherever. I'm sitting in Germany, and it's like so international, which is something really positive in my opinion, because it has a big power.
And it doesn't matter, if we're like all like the top athletes, like trying to, get to the top or whatever. We're all still, sharing information with each other.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not really like the type of person to like be like, oh no, I don't want to tell you like some of my secrets or knowledge so that you can be better than me, no, like the more people that can learn that and experience it and then be better than me, the better, because we want people to take this sport to the next level. That's why I'm a big advocate on teaching kids calisthenics, because they're the next generation. Like, if I know, like Melnick, he started so young. He had a planche when he was 11 years old, like imagine kids starting calisthenics from like so young, and then, that would just be a whole different world.
True. That's true. Do you have a favorite book?
I'm not big on reading, but recently some of my friends have been reading the book Breathe, all about different types of breath works and methods like that. So I'm thinking about reading that book, because I'm always interested in like meditation and different ways of like breathing and stuff like that to help for like anything really,
Great. I just have to smile because 2 interviews before, it was Matteo Spinazzola, Matteo Deo. He also recommended a book that he didn't read. So that's quite funny if somebody begins. I'm not a big reader, but I always know something is about to come. But
yeah, I'm big on movies.
Okay, yeah, that's the next question. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I'll say like my favorite series, Harry Potter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's good. Yes. Do you have a favorite calisthenics event you've visited?
Yes. I'll say the craziest event will probably be, the top 2, Hong Kong and New York call out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
The Hong Kong 2019 super final, and then few months following the call out 6.
Okay.
Craziest competitions of my life, for sure.
Great. Yes. And then the last question, what's your message to the calisthenics community?
My message to the calisthenics community. Tough one. I'll just say my message is to follow your dreams, never to sell yourself short. Like, if you have goals, like try to never stop reaching your goals. Like, the best thing for me is to kind of establish like a long-term goals, medium-term goals, and a short-term goals. And that way you can find out what you need to be doing in the short term and the now to be able to get to your medium term and to your long-term goals. And yeah, man, if you have a dream, like, don't stop chasing that, because I've already accomplished several of my dreams that I never thought that I would be able to, just from like being consistent, being disciplined, and following my passion, So anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Listen to your body, don't overtrain. Yeah, man, that's it. Calisthenics for life. Be active, stay moving, stay healthy. Mental health is important. I'll argue that the mind is, if not more important than the physical aspect of the sport, so keep your mind healthy, do the things that make you happy, take time for yourself, don't get too into one thing and get too sucked in, because it's really easy to do that. So keep your mind open always, and do what you love.
Great.
That's my message.
Wow. That's an own motivational video we can do out of this. That's, that's
awesome.
Good.
Hey, I appreciate the interview, man. Thank you for the invitation. Again, it's really been an honor to be here with you.
You're welcome, really. And for the people who are interested in your coaching, because you're also doing online coaching, right?
Yeah, I'm doing online coaching through WhatsApp, and I'm also here in LA doing one-on-one coaching for anybody that's in the Valley or LA
okay,
area.
Great. So for everybody who is interested in that, they contact you via Instagram or YouTube?
Yeah,
or
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Okay.
Instagram would be great.
We will put all your socials in the description, so everybody who wants to reach out to you, he can find you. And big thank you, Thomas, for taking the time.
Thank you again. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your night.
Yes, you too. And thanks for everyone listening to this. We really appreciate the support. Give us a thumbs up. Share this interview if you took one or two things from Thomas to share it with your friends. And
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Much love. Bye.